Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and today I'm checking out the X300. So XK is an offshoot of the WL Toys brand, and it's usually reserved for their more hobby grade premium style aircraft and also their brushless aircraft. However, this one is a brushed geared model, but it does have this hobby grade transmitter. It's the X8 transmitter, and this quadcopter is different because it has got optical image stabilizing. So it uses a little camera underneath there, and if you are low enough, it's going to perform a similar task to GPS supposedly, and I will try it out, and it should hover in one position, and that is great really for beginners, because that's one of the things that is most difficult to do, is hover on the spot. And then of course once you get higher up, then it is going to move around, and then I guess it's going to allow you to learn better. Now this model has altitude hold, so both of these sticks are spring loaded. It's an FPV model, so we've got 5.8 gigahertz up here, but I believe there's also a Wi-Fi FPV model as well, but honestly I would completely avoid that. So the camera module is removable, and it comes with a 4GB micro SD card, so it is going to record the footage in 720p as well, which is quite nice, and that just slots in there like that. We have got tri-blades, and you're given a spare set of these. You're also given prop protectors which clip on really nicely, but I am not using those. And then at the back we have got a proprietary 2000 milliamp 2S battery. Now I say proprietary because it clips in like this, however it doesn't charge proprietary. You get given this little adapter that fits on the end there, and then it charges off a balance port, and you're given a charger, and it does just charge straight from the balance port. So you can use a hobby grade charger, I guess. I use one of the B3 AC chargers, and that charged this up, allow me to charge a couple of these up. So yeah, if you're gonna get this, buy a couple of batteries. But inside here we've got a couple of joining boards there, so the battery just slots in there like so. Have I got it the right way around? No, it goes in that way, so the black matches the top. And then we've got a light indicator on the top here as well, so if we just press this button, it tells us how full the battery is, which is quite nice. And it's a nice model, I have to say, nice looking model. It's plastic, but the quality seems pretty good. You can see that the brushed motors do have holes in the side to let the heat out, because they get very hot to brushed motors. So I'll just put that on the ground a second and we'll take a look at the transmitter. So you get your WL Toys style FPV monitor with a sunshade there, and that connects with these two screws underneath here. So one thing that I did have to do is, it's usually the case with a lot of WL Toys monitors, is this was flopping about, so I had to tighten up this screw here. There's a little bolt on this side, and it was just a little hex driver, and then that wasn't a problem. And this monitor just slides into this slot here quite nicely. So let's talk about the controls. As I say, it's spring loaded sticks, very nice quality gimbals here, and you can switch between mode 1 and mode 2. You see where it says stick mode there, you press that in and then turn on the transmitter, and it flicks between mode 1 and mode 2. No mode 3 or mode 4 sadly. So then we've got these two buttons up here, the rest are all dummies I'm afraid. So this button here, that actually allows you to change the frequency of the 5.8 gigahertz. So we have a button on the back of here as well, and that also changes through the frequency on the monitor. And then I believe a long press of this one goes into headless mode, so I'm going to be avoiding that. And then we've got a flip button out here, and that's going to let us do automatic flips. Then we've got the start and stop video button here, so it's a long press to start and stop video, short press for photo, and then over here we have a takeoff button and land button, so you have to do a long press of that. And then we've also, on the stick mode button, that becomes your different rates. So there's an onboard battery in this monitor here, and it charges underneath, so you're given a separate charger for the monitor, and then it just switches on at the side here, and it should give us snow. So it tells us the frequency at the top here that we're on, and also the voltage of the monitor. So I imagine that the battery isn't gonna last such a long time with this monitor. You probably just get a couple of flights out of that. And then on the top we have got a dipole antenna up here as well, so that's pretty nice. You're given a separate antenna, and this matches the antenna on the quadcopter as well. So the antenna underneath, just a little dipole antenna as well, so it'd be quite tricky to mod that to cloverleaf. Now apparently the range on this one, they say that the control range is 200 meters and the FPV range is 250 meters, so that's no good, is it? Because we want them to be at least the same, or the control range be better than the FPV range. So there's no information on how powerful the FPV transmitter is. It's just that it's good for 250 meters of range. So this transmitter is Futaba compatible. It is the SFHSS. This dial doesn't move around like it does on the other transmitters. I think it was the X7, so it's just a dummy, so that's just your photo button there. Anyway, let's get and fly this thing and see how it performs. I think to arm it, it's going to be both in that way, and I will check that. So I'm going to turn on the monitor, I'm going to turn on the transmitter, and it says mode 1 there, and then I'm going to turn on the quadcopter. So there we go, we've got some flashing LEDs here, and then if I lift up the throttle there, then looks like we're good to go. Now the picture looks pretty good on the FPV monitor. These sticks are a little bit loose, so I'm having to tighten them up there. Let's have a look through the rates. So 80, 100. Now in the instructions it says that the rates are just for the rudder, so I need to check that out because we want rates for everything. And you can see there it says that we have got up to 1 hour 12 recording with this one. So let's start the video recording. There we go, so the video is now recording, and then let's get an arm it. So there we go. So I'm hovering about 2 meters off the ground, and that is off the sticks, and it is keeping its position. Look at that. That's pretty amazing. It's doing it. Let's see if it drifts at all, because of course it would do. And let's have a look at the video. Video looks pretty good. To say I'm pretty impressed with that. Let's let go of the stick. The camera doesn't look level there, does it? Is that because it's compensating, or is that because the camera isn't level? Let's have a see. I think the camera is not completely level. See when I'm going round there? I don't think it's that you can do anything about that. And the thing just stays there. That's amazing. I can see this becoming a thing. It's not moving whatsoever. Okay, let's try out these different rates. So we have got, let's try, that's 100%, so 60%. So no, the rates are on the control. So that's 60, that's 80, and that's 100. So yeah, that does work. Right, let's go for a flip. It flips really nice. Let's try again. I'm just interested now how high up that stability thing is gonna work. It is drifting a little bit there, and we're probably, what, maybe 3 meters, maybe 4. It's still doing it, you know. It's a shame about that camera angle. That's brilliant. Okay, so let's now see what the FPV is like. It doesn't seem to be any delay, so no lag, which is nice, and the picture's looking good. The only thing I'm noticing is the voltages flashing on the screen, and I fully charged it, so just as I suspected. I don't think the battery's going to last very long in this monitor. But there's hardly any breakup on this monitor whatsoever. That's really strange. The camera angle is slightly out, but it's not out to the point where I can't fly, because when I dip the nose down, the sort of distortion on the lens levels it out. Oh, this is nice flying FPV. It's really relaxing, actually. Apparently, according to the manual, you should get a 20-minute flight time. Now, I will say, I can believe that with a 2000 milliamp battery. Let's check out the range, because this field is 120 meters long. No delay, no lag. Little bit of breakup now on the camera as it's facing towards us. But nothing terrible. Video's looking pretty good. And something that I do want to try with this is, how does it handle with the positioning, coming in fast and letting go of the sticks? Is it just going to carry on? Because it's all very well, it's sort of hovering nicely, but if you let go of the sticks, is it just going to carry on? Because obviously a GPS model wouldn't carry on. So I think I'm low enough there. Let's see what happens. Let go of the sticks, slows down, and sort of drifting a little bit, and then it stops. So that's amazing. That is brilliant, you know. I'm so looking forward to this technology that we've got. Not the quietest of models. We have those brushed motors and then the gears running, so trying to get it close to us, but it seems like it's fighting against something, so probably the optical stabilization. Nice bright LEDs. I like it, you know. I do like it. Just a shame about that camera angle. I imagine that's going to be some kind of quality control. Oh, if I sort of just... Do you know what? I don't think it is the camera angle. I think it's the compensation for the drift, because I can actually physically... Yes, that's what it is, look. If I go and level the quadcopter out, but it drifts with the wind, then... So that's what it is. It's not that the camera angle isn't level. It's the fact that it's compensating for the drift in wind, and therefore it's at an angle. So, there you go. I'm so used to these aircraft that sort of position themselves to have a gimbal that sort of corrects for any sort of drift in the angle, but of course that's not going to be the case with this one. Okay, let's do a punch. Now this isn't a model that's designed to do punches, okay, but let's try it anyway. So it will be limited with its altitude hold anyway, but this is full punch. Yeah, just ascends quite slowly, but you can tell that it's limited. And then the descent, quite nice as well. You can see it once it's above a certain height, then it starts drifting around. Well, it's not bad, you know. So the video there is coming up to 10 minutes. I don't know if it's going to split. It doesn't look like it has split, but in order to save some footage, I'm just going to stop it a second. Look at that, that's just hovering there. I can look at the control whilst it's just up there, because look at that, that's got to be maybe 10-15 meters. It's still hovering. Let's see how high it's going to do that for. Let's take it up. I can see it drifting now. There you go. No, so it's turned it off now because it's completely drifting. Let's see if it carries on drifting. Yeah. But if I bring it down, there's like a certain height where it starts working. I think it's drifting there, so maybe a bit lower. But this is incredible technology on such a cheap model, really. If you don't go above a certain... There you go, I can see it compensating there. Look at that. It's literally that height that it just sort of kicks in, which is probably what it does on a GPS model. That is amazing. And it looks like the camera's leveled out because I'm facing into wind. Yes, so not a problem with the camera. It's just that when it flies itself, it's compensating, so you get that angle. Brilliant. So it seems like it's not as accurate when it's higher up, but it still is controlling itself hands off, you know. Brilliant thing. Let's get some height on. Of course, might have to do it line of sight with some height on, because obviously it's not going to keep its position, to make sure it doesn't drift away. So I can believe the flight time on this one. I'm having to compensate for the wind, although it's not a crazy windy day today. So sort of flying at line of sight here. You kind of have to do that when you're higher up, because I think the field of view on this camera, to me it looks like 120 degrees, but I think the specifications of it says that it's 90. So looks nice to me on the screen, but yeah, it starts drifting as soon as I look away from the screen, and of course you can't see it drifting. This is a nice model, and cheap too. Let's see how quick it comes down. A little bit of a wobble on the descent. One thing I think I should mention is I think the terrain that you fly over is definitely going to affect the stability. I'm just over grass here, which I think the majority of people will be flying this over. And it does it perfect. So I'd say fly over grass. Let's see if I can get it doing its hover thing. It drifts around a little bit. Let's bring it this way. Yeah, so it's drifting around a little bit, but I can take my hand off the control and walk around it, which is not something you can do normally. That is so stable. Altitude hold is working nice as well. I'm impressed, guys. I'm impressed. That's just absolutely glued. And I can't see any LVC going off either, and we've been flying 14 minutes. So let's see if I can do some stuff with it. Backflip. By the way, doing these flips and rolls will deplete the battery. So it's a single press and then move either your roll or your pitch, and then it will do a flip. Gains a little bit of height. Nice. Let's see how fast we can get this thing going now. There's definitely a limit on the roll. I'd say that the third rate was still fairly docile. The pitch is pretty good. Get some speed up. Oh, I really like this guy. Really get some angle in. See if I can buzz us. Flying fast like this definitely going to wear the battery out, so I imagine I might not be getting the full 20 minutes. But you know what, that's one of the things that people ask me the most when getting into this. You show them a mini quad and you say, oh, there's only like a 2 to 4 minute flight time, and people are like, oh, it's crazy. This guy, what are we on here? For 16 minutes and we've got the LVC kicking in. Is it gonna do an auto landing? By the way, to get it to do an auto takeoff, an auto landing, you long press this button in here, but you don't really need to do that, just arm it, takeoff, keeps it in its position anyway. What I'm interested in now is whether it's going to land itself when it's had enough, because otherwise I've got this video recording. Oh, there we go. No, looks like it's landing itself, and it stopped the props. See if I can stop the video recording. Yeah, brilliant. So there you go, that is my review of the X300. I really like it, actually. I think it's a fantastic package for beginners. It's an all-in-one solution. I was concerned about the camera at first, but I think it is level. It's just that when it's doing its positioning hold, it's compensating for the wind and causing it to tilt a little bit. So there you go. I'll put a link in the description if you wish to get one. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.